For all my fellow gamers out there, check out these gaming accessories from HyperX. Whether you're looking for a new headset, a fresh microphone, keyboards, controllers, webcams, and much more, HyperX definitely has you covered. Just hit the link in the pinned comment and description for much more details. Also, a portion of any qualifying purchases goes right back into supporting the channel. So thank you in advance for any support. Yo buddy, Veteran X here, and no need for a long ass YouTube intro, you know why you're here. Our journey begins all the way back in 2002, following the success of a little known video game called Grand Theft Auto Vice City. But what's really crazy was the entire process to build San Andreas from the ground up and getting it into the homes of millions of players. For starters, San Andreas was developed at Rockstar North by a team that had only 50 people. Yes, a 50-person team is responsible for one of the most impactful games from the early 2000s. This 50-person squad of rock stars, pun definitely intended, was led by Leslie Benzies, Dan Houser, and Sam Houser. Leslie produced San Andreas with Dan, who also co-wrote the story. That's pretty badass. While Sam Houser, who was the president of Rockstar Games, was the executive producer. The world had no idea what these guys were cooking up, but what we received was something truly incredible. The world of San Andreas is based on real-world locations. The inspiration is drawn from 3 major cities within the United States. Las Venturas is modeled after Las Vegas, San Fierro is based on San Francisco, and Los Santos is based on the city of Los Angeles. During development, members of the team traveled to each city on numerous occasions to gather photography and research key locations in the city. For example, the Gant Bridge within San Andreas is modeled after the Golden Gate Bridge within San Francisco. Numerous real-life elements can be seen throughout the DNA of San Andreas, and none is more iconic than the Vinewood sign, which is based upon the famous Hollywood sign located in Los Angeles. The art team also took their job seriously because they knew that thorough research can help create a polished product. Art director Aaron Garbett, and I really hope I said his last name correctly, had this to say about the impact of the major cities within San Andreas. We aim to make every area feel very different while still belonging to the same cohesive whole. There's nothing more boring than a game that's big for the sake of it. No one wants to drive through miles of identical buildings. We might as well make the cars drive much slower. It would have the same effect. Holy shit. Somebody get this man an award. What he stated is the perfect example of quality over quantity. You can tell that Aaron and his team loved their job, and they didn't want to cut corners when it came to designing the world of San Andreas for its players. San Andreas was also the first game in the series to feature major geographical features such as large forests and mountain ranges. Just like the many elevation changes present in Beverly Hills, several areas in the game feature rolling hills as well to help players feel a sense of scale and add to the immersion factor. Not only did the Rockstar North team model elements of the game on real-world locations, but they also based it upon real people. You see, the setting of San Andreas is heavily based on the 90s gang culture featured in California and corrupt cops during that time frame. While performing research for the in-game locations, the team also performed research within gang territories to really capture that authentic feel. The art director, Aaron, also stated that groups of them went into quote-unquote scarier areas right in the center of LA's gang territory. And he stated that some of it was actually terrifying, but he felt as though it wouldn't be possible to capture the authentic feel of something unless you're able to experience it. GTA 3 was based on the early 2000s, Vice City was based in the early 80s of Miami, and San Andreas completes the rest of the trilogy. And it was very important that the team captured the gang elements appropriately without sacrificing the overall quality of the game. Dan Houser, one of the producers of San Andreas, had this to say about the street culture. "We love LA and the whole gangbanging vibe and the street culture. That time, the early 90s, in LA is so important, and we knew a long time ago that the GTA franchise needed to end up there." Also, imagining Dan saying gangbanging vibe is kind of funny. While creating the various gangs within San Andreas, the Rockstar North team also used the help of LA natives to help shape the atmosphere and elements of early 90s street culture. Several LA natives helped contribute to the making of San Andreas, including the legendary Mark Jordan, known professionally as DJ Pooh. DJ Pooh, his connections, and many LA natives provided much needed context to help bring the various pieces of San Andreas together. Without the input from the individuals who actually lived and grew up around that environment, it could be argued that San Andreas wouldn't contain the soul that made it into a huge success. Also, I'd like to give a huge shout out to my first channel member, Bright Soldier. I truly appreciate the support. And if you would like to become a friend of the channel and get cool ass shout outs just like this one, then check out the links in the description to become a member today. San Andreas was also developed using the RenderWare game engine. And some other popular games that used this engine included Mortal Kombat, Deadly Alliance, GTA Vice City, and even the critically acclaimed Polar Express, the video game. Here we go with the heavy hitters. And speaking of heavy hitters, the casting of San Andreas' characters features some very popular names and actors. Big names such as Samuel Jackson voiced Officer Frank Tenpenny.
Honey!
What?
Where's my super suit?
What?
Where is my super suit?
And Clifton Powell voiced Big Smoke. You might notice him as Pinky from Friday.
Little motherfucker gonna try to rob me. Well, I'm gonna show you how we do it up here in Pinky's, nigga.
But when it came to Carl Johnson, aka CJ, the team didn't slap some big Hollywood name on it. Enter Christopher Bellert, better known as Young Melee, who was hired to voice CJ. And his work speaks for itself.
In the flesh.
Just a real motherfucker right here.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so
Here we go again.
Melee immortalized CJ as one of the most recognizable characters in all of gaming. Also, GTA San Andreas had a development budget of only $10 million. That's insane. Nowadays, when you look at a AAA studio's budget, $10 million is spent on marketing alone. And you wonder why game dev costs are so freaking bloated. It's because these CEOs and department heads can't spend their money responsibly. But that's a topic for another video. Even more shocking is that San Andreas had a development time of only 2 years. Yes, it took 50 people 2 years to deliver this open world crime game to the mass market. I can only imagine the amount of crunch and overtime that was needed to make this possible. Oh my goodness. San Andreas was initially released on the PlayStation 2 in October 2004, and it received global praise from critics, fans, and gaming outlets. In fact, it had a 9.1 user score on Metacritic and a 95 overall rating from media outlets. And San Andreas has sold millions of copies since its release. So what's the problem? Well, you see, 2004 had a very different level of video game tolerance when compared to the present. There were news anchors and community leaders who warned about the dangers of GTA and how it will, quote unquote, poison the youth. Yeah, there were protests and some very upset people out there about a video game. I know, crazy, right? But it doesn't stop there. You see, a hidden minigame was discovered within San Andreas by modders. Within the minigame, CJ and a Lady of the Night would engage in acts of hotel wrestling. I'll let your imagination fill in the blanks. This content was made inaccessible to players, but modders were able to work around the code. They then released the modified code onto the internet called Hot Coffee, and the rest is history. As you can imagine, this made those late night news anchors and community leaders even more outraged with the game.
Representatives that the Federal Trade Commission should investigate the publication of the video game Grand Theft Auto San Andreas to determine if the publisher intentionally deceived the Entertainment Software Ratings Board to avoid an adults-only rating.
San Andreas was even banned in Australia until the graphic content was removed. The ESRB also threatened fines up to $1 million for those who don't properly document their graphical content. And funny thing about all this, Rockstar never made any public comments on the matter, and looking back in hindsight, that's pretty badass. Like I said, 2004 was a weird time, and nowadays people wouldn't even bat an eye at something like that. Hell, several games include mature graphical content as a selling point. It's a part of the marketing cycle. On the horizon, we have GTA 6 releasing in the very near future, and I am very excited for that game. Rockstar, please don't make that game $80+. You have a chance to do the funniest thing ever. Release the game at $70 or less and still make record-breaking profits. We know you can do it, and you will make a shit ton of money still. Besides, we all know that the real money is in GTA Online and those precious shark cards. Also, another game that I think is simply amazing is Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Click on the video on the screen if you want to hear my thoughts on one of the best games out there. I also have another video here in which I yap about Pokemon Heart Gold, one of my favorite Pokemon games ever, and probably one of the best. And now, with all of that out of the way, get out there and let's go play some freaking video games.